think we'll start at 7 o'clock. So welcome to our regular scheduled meeting of the Village Board of Trustees. It is July 20th at 7 o'clock. I'd ask the clerk to please take the roll call.
Trustee Cascatello?
Here.
Trustee Bachner?
Here.
Trustee O'Connell?
Here.
Trustee Gillis?
No, we're going to have
We're going to do that later. And Trustee Brennan?
Here.
And President Ducey?
here. Okay, if I can ask the board to move in a second and allow Trustee Vasquez and Trustee Gillis. We can do it together, or
They can do joint, my understanding is.
one is ill, one is, and one is. Yeah.
Yep, Trustee Vasquez is for medical reasons, and Trustee Gillis is the same as before. She is the trustee / executor of the family estate, and so it's family and business related. She's the executor.
Right.
And she's there for important meetings that require wet signatures in
Okay.
New York, I believe.
Yes.
Motion to allow Trustee Gillis to participate remotely due to employment obligations and Trustee Vasquez due to health reasons.
Medical.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Okay, if we could take a vote on that.
Trustee Cascatello?
Yes.
Trustee Bachner?
Yes.
Trustee O'Connell?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, welcome, Trustee Vasquez and Trustee Gillis. Thank you. Okay, and I'd like to now say the Pledge of Allegiance, so if I can ask everyone to rise and take your hats off. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Before we get into the special presentation, I'd like to ask the board if you're okay with moving agenda item number A to the beginning, so because we have family members here. If you're okay with that? Just with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
if everyone acquiesces, we don't need to do a motion to amend the agenda.
Yeah.
If someone objected, we might need to, but if everyone's good to let the
Yeah.
chair do that, that's
Okay.
perfectly okay.
Thank you. So with that, I'd like to have a motion to approve the resolution honoring David Reno Ogden and designating 500 block of Edgewood as David Reno Ogden Way. Can I get a motion?
I move to approve the resolution to posthumously honor David Reno Ogden and designate the 500 block of Edgewood as David Reno Ogden Way.
Second.
Okay, very good. If I can get the vote then, please.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Cascatello?
Yes.
Trustee Bachner?
Yes.
Trustee O'Connell?
Yes.
Trustee Gillis?
Yes.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Very good. I'm going to ask the family, Chris and David, if the chair of the Historic Preservation Commission, I'd like to read our resolution that we just passed and approved unanimously for David. So let me just put into the record. So whereas David Reno Ogden was an original member of the Village of River Forest Historic Preservation Commission and contributed greatly to the foundation and the direction of the commission, offering his professional insight and commitment to the preservation of community character. And whereas his name was called on the roll for more than 190 Historic Preservation Commission meetings over the years, reflecting the depth of his early involvement and the lasting presence of his service in the Commission's history. And whereas during the time on the Commission, he consistently offered guidance, shared creative ideas, often hand-drawing architectural sketches to help applicants visualize suggestions, and assisted applicants in understanding design considerations with thoughtfulness and care, while frequently lightening the room with a corny joke. It was him. And whereas David Reno Ogden was known for his warmth, humor, and social spirit, and his presence brought joy, laughter, and camaraderie to every meeting, leaving a lasting impression on colleagues, friends, and community members alike. And whereas the Village of River Forest mourns the passing of David Reno Ogden and extends its deepest condolences to his wife, Christine Reno Ogden, and his daughters, Logan, Liza, and Mira, while expressing its gratitude to the Reno Ogden family for sharing David's time, his talents, and enduring commitment to the preservation and betterment of the Village of River Forest. And whereas he made his home on the 500 block of Edgewood Place in the William E. Drummond House, a highly regarded Prairie School resident designed in 1909 by William Eugene Drummond, a home widely recognized as one of the best examples of the Prairie School style, and listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1970. So now therefore be it resolved, the village president and the board of trustees of the Village of River Forest do hereby recognize and honor the life of David Reno Ogden and extend their sincere appreciation for his decades of dedicated service, leadership, and lasting contributions to the architectural, culture, and civic vitality of the community. And be it further resolved that the 500 block of Edgewood Place shall have a secondary designation as David Reno Ogden Way. The Board of Trustees requests that the village place an honorary street sign on Edgewood Place to reflect the David Reno Ogden Way. And by the resolution that just passed, the Board of Trustees does not intend to affect any existing or future signage that reflects the secondary designation, except for the honorary sign described in Section 2 of this resolution. The Board of Trustees shall ensure that a suitable copy of the resolution is presented to the Reno Ogden family as an expression of the board's esteem and sincere good wishes. This is what will go up on Edgewood. This is yours, but we'll put another one up
That's
for you.
awesome.
Yes,
Oh, he would be thrilled.
I know. David, I don't know if you want to say a
And
few words.
shocked.
Come on up here so we can hear you.
Sure.
And Chris, I'd love to. Want to say a few?
As the other remaining original from January, February 2007, we all clearly miss David. His extraordinary expertise, his ability while people were doing presentations to just sketch out proposals, hand them up and say, well, what about this? Have you thought about this? This would be maybe a little bit better and it'll save you money. And as well as his just irrepressible puns. He was a valued colleague, a close friend, and we all miss him.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
I guess all I can say is that David is beaming up in heaven, there is no doubt. And he would be so surprised. He just did what he loved, and he loved to design. It was never work. It was never something that was a pain in the butt. He really, he was drawing all the time, and he loved working with everybody.
Yes.
It was a great commission, and I'm sure he's missing it too. But, sending advice somehow. Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you,
This
Chris.
is such an honor. The whole family really appreciates it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll get that sign up as soon as we can. Okay, so let's, again, thank you. We'll go ahead and move on to the other presentations that, on item 3, swearing in of our new firefighter, paramedic, Julia Mazie, which I'm very excited about, first woman.
You can stay right there. Perfect. Yeah, if you could. Go ahead.
Whoa.
Good evening, everybody. It's an exciting night for the River Forest Fire Department. More of the guys would have been here, but they just took off on a call. Perfect timing as usual. But tonight we want to welcome Julia Massey to the River Forest Fire Department. I'll tell you a little bit about Julia real quick. Julia's 24 years old and is a native of Elmwood Park, and the daughter of Carl and Denise Massey, who are here tonight. She has a brother, Jimmy, who's here. There he is. And a sister, Kayla, who's also here. Julia attended the Willows Academy in Des Plaines and before going on to earn a Bachelor of Science degree in interdisciplinary health science from the University of Illinois. She then completed her paramedic training at Lutheran General Hospital in Park Ridge. She brings hands-on field experience to her next chapter, having worked as an EMT with the lead ambulance and also at Resurrection Hospital. On August 2nd, Julia will begin her next step in her journey as a firefighter by starting the Romeoville Fire Academy, where she will train and be certified as a basic operations firefighter and hazardous materials operations responder. So, again, welcome, Julia. So,
Yeah.
we'll have so the clerk will
Yeah, the
swear
clerk
you
is
in.
coming. Yeah. We don't have a hard copy of the oath, but that's all right. She's
Oh,
just
that's
gonna do
okay.
it. So we can get some pictures.
Raise your right hand. I, Julia Massey,
I, Julie Massey,
having been appointed to the office of firefighter paramedic
having been appointed to the office of firefighter paramedic
in the village of River Forest
in the village of River Forest
in the county of Cook,
in the county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of firefighter paramedic to the best of my ability.
of the office of firefighter paramedic to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ouch. Very good.
Congratulations.
Yeah, very good. Well, she's going around the room. Julia is the first woman serving in this capacity for the firefighters. We're getting there. Okay, so the next is the police department.
Good evening, Village Board. Good evening to everybody here in the audience. And congratulations to Julia. Today, I am here to present a commendation award to Officer Lane Neiman and Officer Saldana. On May 23rd, 2026, River Forest units were dispatched to multiple reports of a subject attempting door handles on residences in the 10 and 1100 block of Franklin Avenue during the early morning hours. Detailed images of the offender were distributed to officers, and it was determined that the suspect involved in the River Forest incident matched the offender from a residential burglary that occurred in Oak Park. On May 24th, 2026, Corporal Neiman observed the same subject in the area of Ashland and Iowa. Coordinating with Officer Saldana, the officers conducted an investigatory stop and positively identified the individual as the offender connected to the previously reported burglary cases. The suspect was taken into custody without incident. A search of the offender revealed multiple credit cards belonging to victims from separate residential burglaries in Oak Park, River Forest, and Skokie. Corporal Neiman and Officer Saldana continued their investigation and successfully linked the suspect to both River Forest burglary cases. During custodial interviews, the offender admitted to committing both crimes, and as a result of their thorough investigation, the offender was charged with numerous felonies to include residential burglary, possession of stolen credit cards, and attempt residential burglary, in addition to pending charges in Oak Park and Skokie. The exceptional investigative work, coordination, and professionalism demonstrated by Corporal Neiman and Officer Saldana led to the apprehension of a repeat residential burglary offender and the filing of multiple felony charges. Their dedication to duty and commitment to public safety reflect great credit upon themselves and the River Forest Police Department, making them highly deserving of a recognition and commendation. If you guys can both come forward so you can receive your award.
Yeah.
Should we shake hands?
Yeah.
There we go. Nice. Action shot. Okay.
Blaine, congratulations. You got it. Thank you very much.
Very good.
The next presentation we have is for Angus O'Neill. Come on up, Angus. I'm going to give you an award real quick here, okay? So this is the Citizenship Award. And this is in recognition of an outstanding act of kindness and honesty. Angus O'Neill was leaving River Forest Chocolates when he discovered a $50 bill outside the store.
Wow.
Instead of keeping it, Angus chose to do the right thing. He brought the money inside and gave it to the owner, Donna Slapika, so she could return it to its rightful owner. After a week passed and no one claimed the money, Donna contacted Angus's family. They asked that the money be given to the River Forest Police Department. In celebration of Angus's good deed, the police department donated the $50 to the Special Olympics of Illinois, turning one act of kindness into another. This certificate honors Angus for showing honesty, responsibility, and generosity, qualities that make our community very proud. Congratulations, Angus. Your kindness makes a difference.
Yeah.
Good job.
Woo, Angus! Nice. Yes. Thank you, Angus. Okay. All right. Okay, we'll get on to the business. We have 4 citizens' comments, and John, if you want to wait till we get to the historic preservation, if you don't mind, we'll get there soon. Homer, I'll ask Homer. Hi, Homer.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Village trustees. Just want to get y'all up to date. What's going on in the veterans community? We have a Veterans Mental Health Awareness Workshop on July 31st. It's going to be with our community partners at River Edge Hospital. So if you have veteran spouses wanting to learn about how to claim their spouses' benefits, they, feel free. And we actually, I'm going to be sending that information out to Matt Walsh so you could spread it around. And another great news is my staff and I, we was talking about doing a ruck march in this wonderful village of River Forest, but I'm gonna let them go in more in details. But as always, thank y'all for supporting us, and hey, keep the fight going.
Yeah. Thank you, Homer. So Tatiana?
Okay. Hi, my name is Tatiana Mason. I'm the project manager intern. I just want to share a quick announcement about our upcoming community event this fall. We're planning a community walkathon in October to support veterans and their family. We're bringing veterans, their family, and members of the community together to walk while collecting necessary items to help those in need. We're asking everyone to bring donations like bottles of water, hygiene products, snacks, and other everyday needs. Those donations will go directly to veterans and their family. Mm-hmm. Once we get more information, we'll share with you guys.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have a date yet?
We're trying to do October 17th.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
17.
Yeah, I think you said you did. Thank you very much. Okay, Margie?
Margie Seconder. I'm a River Forest resident. The July 9th DRB hearing felt like a confirmation of a decision made earlier by others, much like Lake and Lathrop. The application omitted critical information on rents, sale price of the 3 lots, financial assessments, assumptions, and calculations. The traffic analyses were biased with incomplete links. Brick garages showed up at the last minute, extending to the Lathrop sidewalk, abutting single-family homes, and physically and visually impacting adjacent neighbors. The burden the project will place on adjacent property owners outweighs the alleged economic benefits to the village, contrary to one of the standards, Ordinance 10-19-3. The DRB process changed even from the last hearing, November's infamous tennis club lighting hearing, in order to squeeze the public assessment and ram through the DRB. Attorney Skrodsky told members after their yes votes that it meant they agreed the standards for review were met. 10 or more of those 15 standards were not met. Neighbors walked out saying the DRB's few substantive questions were insulting. This project reduces neighbors' property values and in their enjoyment, one of the standards that's unmet. The entire process from 2 EDC members and Matt Walsh selecting JLL as the broker to 4 trustees narrowing from 5 to 2 developers to selecting 531 as the developer was orchestrated to deliver a previously selected developer without proper vetting of the applicant or the project. On the Historic Preservation Commission item on your agenda on secondary structures, neighbors within 500 feet of the property should still have a say, instead of consolidating power and decision-making with staff. On the RFCCA takeover, the Civic Center Authority reported last week it's considering consolidating into the village by summer's end. They report consolidation discussions with the village since the summer of last year, 2025. See the July 14th agenda. The village board has yet to reveal any discussion on this topic to residents. Where's your transparency you so frequently tout? On June 22nd, this board discussed in closed session a merger or acquisition of property with 2 Civic Center Authority members, John Beckvar and Keith Strom, in attendance. President Ducey, this is your 3rd attempt to take the building. The first in 2014-15, embroiled in petition forgeries. The second was in 2019-20 with the village's lead under cover of multiple River Forest taxing bodies, which commissioned a capital expenditure review. The takeover will likely increase property taxes to support the building rather than with user fees. A 900% increase in rents is slated for July of 2028, which may squeeze childcare programs and could set up a redevelopment with the parcel in the Madison TIF. An issue this important to the community should go to referendum. To be open, transparent, and trustworthy, this board needs a referendum on any takeover, merger, or consolidation with the Civic Center Authority or the building. Thank you.
Okay. All right, that ends our citizen comments. So we're on to elected official comments and announcements. So why don't I start with you, Bob?
I know we're kind of, I'm looking on my phone because I just want to make sure I get it correct. Baseball season is ending, and our R9 U group was runner-up in their league, so congratulations to them. It brings a lot of joy on most evenings in the summer, early in the summer, when you drive by, primarily Keystone Park, and see all the young people participating in the baseball activities. To River Forest Youth Baseball, another successful season. Congratulations to them. I guess that's all I have for tonight. Thanks.
All right. Okay, thank you. Okay, Megan.
This has been a big month for parks. I'd like to say congratulations to the Park District for their 2 new ADA compliant, disability friendly parks that they've put in. You can see the progress on our own park, and Lincoln Elementary School is slated to have a new playground on the Franklin side by August 1st. So it's a great month, and once the air quality improves, everyone can get out and enjoy some of these parks. And I'd also like to say a good welcome to Joy Tea. We've been enjoying their tea in the morning. My kids are really excited about that, being across from school. And I wanted to speak just for a minute about my takeaways from the All American Cities Conference, which I found to be profoundly moving and a great experience. I thought one of the best things that I took away was new and novel ways that we can engage the community, things that other communities are doing to engage youth, to engage citizens, and make sure that processes become more transparent, that people have more access and more say, and that we're really engaging people from the youngest levels. And to that end, I've been working with some of our Boy Scouts recently to engage more deeply, and they even have more ideas, Matt, from the last time that I spoke with you. So once you open the door to kids, they really, really want to engage. So I'm excited to see where we can go with this. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
I want to extend my congratulations again to our new firefighter, Massey, and our officers, Neiman and Saldana, for their good work, and of course to our citizen, Angus O'Neill. And then I want to mention again that we have our Twin Village Covenant Cup coming up on August 8th from 5 to 8 p.m. This is an inaugural event, and it is in honor of the Twin Village Covenant between the villages of River Forest and Maywood. We will be holding a kickball game. So I want to remind the elected officials and department heads who've been invited to participate to please let Luke know whether you can come. And then and other staff as well. And I also want to help publicize the event by mentioning it tonight, because it is open to the public, and it will be held at Keystone Park in River Forest from 5 to 8 p.m. on August 8th. Thank you.
Thanks, Katie.
I have nothing to add.
Okay. Rez?
Good evening, everyone, and I have no further comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Lisa?
Hello. I want to second Trustee Cascatello's comments about the All-City Conference. I did learn a lot from the other 19 municipalities participating in the event, and I am very thankful for the opportunity. I also want to thank we had a couple of village residents who are concerned about the tree that is on the parcel of land to be developed at Madison and Ashland. Assuming that project moves forward per the village arborist, and we're very it's a great thing that we have a village arborist on staff. This silver maple is a fast-growing tree at the end of its lifespan. Upon moving forward with the project, it will be replaced based on its circumference per village ordinance with hardwood trees on the village list of trees appropriate for this area. And note that the silver maple is not on that list because it is known for weak, brittle wood that breaks easily during storms, and given some of the storms we've had lately, that is not necessarily a good thing. So again, I thank village residents for their concern, and I want them to, to rest assured we have heard them, we have done our due diligence, and we will move forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Erica?
I'd like to start with a land acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
As we begin, we are mindful that we hold these meetings on land that was once and still inhabited by Indigenous people, including the Ojibwa, Chippewa, Menominee, Potawatomi nations, and more. We will remember our nation's history and honor the Native people as stewards of this land that was colonized, and that River Forest continues to be a place many people from diverse backgrounds live and gather. That's my comments for this evening.
All right. Thank you, Erica. I only have just a few. First of all, I want to acknowledge our first women firefighter paramedic. So congratulations to the fire department for stepping up to 2026 and finding a capable woman to do the job. So also, Angus, what a great story that was. And I hope many of our youth out there are listening and hearing and doing the same thing. I want to echo what Megan had said. I thought the All-City Conference was, it was amazing. It exceeded my expectations because I've never done it before. Over the many years I've been both president and trustee, I've never attended a conference like that. And to think that we were named a finalist out of, I think they said over 120 applicants that came in, and we were one of 20. That right away I thought was a honor. And just to kind of whittle it down to a little bit more information, I mean, Illinois in 2021, Evanston was a finalist. They weren't in top 10 finalists. They were in the top 20 finalists. And before that, it was Peoria in 2013. So it's a very difficult award to win, but the fact that our small little community was able to make, the final, if you will, the finalist of 20, I'm very proud of all of us around this table. And of course, I'm very proud of our staff. I mean, if it wasn't for Luke and Jessica and Matt and all the staff, Jack and the chiefs and everybody that contributes to our work day in and day out, none of that could have happened. So on behalf of the village board and myself, I want to say thank you for your commitment to this community and continuing to find ways to communicate. It came out real clear, I think, in that conference. So thank you. And that's all I have. But the one thing I do want to mention to Megan, if you don't mind, I think you and I chatted about the youth commission or youth. I'd like to follow up on that with you and see if we can come back to the board with some ideas of how we can create something.
We have some young people who I think are very excited to help offer ideas as well.
Okay, good. All right, super. All right, so with that now I'd like to go to the consent agenda. Obviously we did A, so if I can get a motion a second to do B through K.
Motion to approve consent agenda items B through K.
Could we pull B?
I'm sorry?
Could we pull B?
B as in boy, yes, of course.
Thank you.
I'll revise that. Motion to approve consent agenda items C through K.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to be pulled from the vote for the village board trustee minutes and the village board trustee executive session minutes.
Okay. So we had a first and a second on that. We want to modify J and K. Pull that off. Are you saying?
Yeah, I think she's just gonna.
Okay, so.
Oh, you're going to abstain
It doesn't
from
need to be pulled off.
Okay.
It's just noted.
Okay. Sorry, I'm sorry. Didn't hear you. My bad. All right, then I think we're okay. With that.
Okay. Item 5C, June 2026 financial report. D, administration department report. E, monthly department reports. F, change order, villages, public works aerial truck VersaLift, $1,088. G, purchase approval, large V-Box spreader, Sourcewell Cooperative, $51,021. H, intergovernmental agreement, Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, Village Hall permeable paver parking lot. I, award of contract, construction engineering services, 2026 Franklin Avenue water main replacement, Christopher B. Burke Engineering, $96,500. J, Village Board of Trustees meeting minutes, June 22nd, 2026. K, Village Board of Trustees executive session meeting minutes, June 22nd, 2026. Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Cascatello?
Yes.
Trustee Bachner?
But J and K.
Except for
J and K.
Except for J and K.
Yeah, I think you
Yes.
needed to say that separate. It's noted.
Yes. Yeah, I have you abstaining.
You have noted it.
Yes, I
In,
noted.
I'm not voting for it.
I've got abstain.
Okay.
Abstain.
Yes.
Okay. Trustee O'Connell?
Yes.
Trustee Gillis?
Yes.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, very good. So now we'll go on to 8, recommendations of boards and commissions.
No,
And,
we got to go back to B.
back
Megan-
to B.
Megan has said-
Yep,
Megan
so
has
accounts
said.
payable. So if I can get a motion section.
I move to approve consent agenda item B.
Second.
We're round and round.
Okay. And I pulled this because in February we'd agreed that we would pay Just Kolka Terman $60,000 for the work that they have completed. At this point, we've paid them more than that. We've paid, I think, close to 80 from December to today. And so what I would like to do is I would like to have at our next meeting an accounting of what we've paid them and then an additional contract if we're going to continue to utilize those services so that we can understand what that relationship looks like going forward because it's gone beyond the scope of the contract at this point.
Can I, just a question?
Yeah.
We approved, we had done some work prior to February, correct?
Yes, we did.
And that, I think, fell under your purview, Matt, and then you brought it forward as a formal contract because of your
We,
spending?
I thought that too, so I went back and I listened to February, and we included the December and January within that agreement.
Okay.
I don't know that we had specifically said that we wanted to see an additional agreement, so there's nothing that's been done wrong.
Sure.
But I think at this point, I think that deserves some clarification in terms of what the intention is for that relationship.
Yes, absolutely. I'm happy to bring that forward.
So,
back to the board.
so you just want the detail of the billing?
I want to know what the detail of the billing is, what we paid them for to date, which is beyond what we had agreed to, and if we're continuing this relationship, what that looks like or what the intention of that is, so that we can vote on it.
Yep.
And discuss how those services are used. Because again, now we're using 2 communications firms, and we have been for 6 months. So that's something I'm just always cautious of.
And just, I'm not sure if you were asking for just numbers billing or also what the scope of the work?
Yeah, I think scope of work as well.
Okay. Because I'm curious about that too.
So, Matt, I don't know if you have any comments to that as to why, if we were issued an order for $60,000 and it's 80 now.
I don't have a comment on that specifically right now. I'd have to check on what has been spent to date. I do know I had a conversation with them recently about bringing an item back for what an additional scope would be for beyond that point. What monies may have been spent beyond that, I can't comment on at this point. They've been doing work within the scope specific to the Madison Street development. That was their scope of work. There may have been a reimbursement pieces or things that were submitted as part of that maybe should have been called out differently, but I'll have to confirm that.
Okay.
Is everything that they're hired to do for us related to the Madison Ashland development?
That is correct. Yes. So yes, they're completely funded from the Madison Street TIF district. We keep them aware of some of the other communication pieces, but the other communications firm hasn't assisted with any of the community engagement or communications relevant to the project, the Madison Street proposed project.
So that's the differentiation between the marketing firm that we've been using now for several years that puts out our e-newsletters, and Jaskulka is hired just to handle Madison Ashland. Like, are they writing the letters that are the notes that are in the e-newsletters or in the paper or something about different topics having to do with Madison and Ashland?
Correct. Not all of them, but yes, the dedicated newsletter, the frequently asked questions, they helped kind of design the format of the open house that, try and increase open engagement up at the beginning. The webpage and all that pieces for Madison Street is strictly with Jaskulka Thurman. And then the typical Thursday newsletter that we put out in social media posts are managed by our other communications provider, Vicarious.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll go ahead and vote for the B.
So is this going to be subject to a report provided by Matt? Or?
No, I think it this is the opportunity to ask about it for the next meeting.
Okay, great. Item 5B, accounts payable, June 2026, $2,095,892.79. Trustee Cascatello?
Yes.
Trustee Bachner?
Yes.
Trustee O'Connell?
Yes.
Trustee Gillis?
Yes.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
And Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so I think that concludes our consent. So we'll go on to the recommendations of boards and commissions. We have one from the Historic Preservation Commission. We got David Franek, the chair here, so I'll need a motion to approve an ordinance amending the village's Historic Preservation Code.
Motion to approve an ordinance amending the village's Historic Preservation Code.
Thank you. Okay, hi, David.
Hi.
I know we have all your also some of your commissioners
Absolutely.
here.
My name is Dave Franek. I'm chair of the Preservation Commission. I also have here John Forehand, Jan Sager, and Brian Muir, 3 of our 6 other commissioners.
John, did you want to say something? I know you had, I'm sorry, I almost forgot you. You had a citizens comment, so I'll let you do that here. Okay, thanks, Sarge.
I was just name's John Forehand. I live at 914 Monroe. I've lived there for 25 years with my wife and 2 kids. Did want to say thank you very much to Chairman Franek for doing all this work on this change. We've been working on it for how many years now?
A little bit over a year and a half.
A little year and a half. So it's been a lot of work. But I was going to talk in relationship to just one small part of it. And this is where we are looking at changing the delay time when someone wants to demolish a historic home or a significant property is the way it's defined. We are talking about recommending making the change from 6 months to 9 months. And we're doing that for one of the main reasons is that I've been in the architecture field for the last 40 years, building homes and designing homes. And just the time that it takes to develop these projects, 6 months is literally nothing in the timeline. So by extending it to 9, it gives the commission a little more time to work with the homeowners to try to find an alternate path. So I just wanted to make that point because I think obviously the historic homes of River Forest are a huge, important part of our community. And just giving us that extra 3 months, could make a difference in saving a potential, significant property. So that's all I had. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. Okay.
So maybe your other members, I know we said John.
Brian. And
Jan. Anybody else? Okay.
And that's John. So, the purpose of the proposed amendments is really to streamline the process. The commission started in February 2007, and with David Reno Ogden's passing last fall, I'm the last remaining original member. We have amended the ordinance on several prior occasions, 2 in particular, solely for the purpose of enhancing the village, enhancing the property values, and streamlining the process. These specific amendments and the extent of the amendments, which is basically a rewrite of the ordinance, was triggered by the fact that of late we have had a number of proposed demolitions of accessory buildings, typically garages, situated on significant properties. What a significant property is it's defined by our ordinance. One of the requirements of the ordinance, as it was passed by the village board, was that we commission an architectural survey, which we did after a nationwide request for proposals. And we met with various architects from across the country that gave our proposals. We happened to choose 2 local architects, one from Oak Park and the other with a group practice in Chicago. They looked at every structure in the village and determined whether or not they meet the requirements set out for historic preservation in the National Historic Preservation Act of 1966, which is defined by the Secretary of the Interior. It's kind of the gold standard. So we're in very firm footing. We have lost a couple of those since then. We now have 296. So basically what the ordinance does is it regulates. We have the ability to advise only as to exterior structural alterations. And we also have the ability to delay demolition. And the purpose of the demolition delay is to seek alternatives. As the ordinance currently stands, we would have to go through a 2 full commission process in order to review a potential demolition of a garage. What we've done is we have increased the powers of the Architectural Review Subcommittee, which is 2 members of the commission, to, in some instances, make a full determination that the full commission review is not warranted based upon various elements of the structure, age, building permits, design, etc. And the whole purpose of this process is to really shrink the amount of time that's involved, and it does streamline the process. There are a couple of other, because the amendments that we required, the linguistic changes, would become very, very cumbersome. We've been adding dependent clauses upon dependent clauses, and it was viewed by the commission that the best thing to do would be to look at the entire ordinance, to restructure it, to update some of the language, make it more understandable by the average citizen or the average contractor looking at the ordinance. And we've also added flowcharts and an index to really kind of up the usability of the structure in the ordinance. We have required, in one of the changes we made based upon the recommendations of John Forehand and earlier David Rayno-Ogden, was to alter the order of folks coming to us. Initially, the belief was we didn't want to make advisory rulings. Therefore, we wanted people to have a building permit in hand before they came to us for our review and analysis. We've since changed our opinion of that for the following reason. We have had a number of homeowners come to us and say, your ideas are great, they're cost saving, but in many instances, I've got a basement full of windows and contractors persuaded me to buy. And while they're not appropriate and they're more expensive than what you have suggested, we're stuck. Therefore, what we're doing is we are switching the order so that folks would come to us in advance. We would then have the ability to do our review, and after that review is done, then they would seek a building permit. That's in line with the majority of other ordinances. As I said, we've empowered the Architecture Review Subcommittee to review review the applications to determine whether they are complete. And with the exception of demolition of significant properties, and again, these are the 296 structures in the community, they can make some final determinations. The one comment that I want to address is one of the community comments. The reduction in the notice requirement for a landmark, that's regarding a landmark designation. And we were reducing the notice requirement with a signage from 500 to 200 feet. Village staff has indicated to us that the minimum lot width in River Forest is 50 feet. 500 is a large burden, and in fact, we've been told by several citizens in the process that they felt that that was particularly burdensome to require them to send certified mailings to folks in a 500-foot radius. Additionally, apparently, the Postal Service is really unwilling to provide certified mail designations. We've been told they're limited to 10 per request, and that's only if you get a cooperative member of the post office staff. So it's kind of where we are. If there are any questions, we're happy to address them or answer.
I have a question about what you just mentioned about the radius.
Sure.
Shrinking from 500 to 200. I'm generally in favor of getting more information from neighbors and giving them more notice. And it sounds like the problem here is with the type of notice, not the actual notice. What would happen if we revised the notice to slipping through the mailbox notice?
That's possible. Typically what happens is ordinances would require that someone provide some certification and some statement. That's why they typically use a certified mail return receipt request.
Because you want to ensure that they've received it.
That's correct.
Yeah,
That's
but
correct.
it sounds like what we're requiring is impossible because the post office is not doing it. It sounds like what we're requiring now, the 500-foot.
It's extraordinarily
radius.
difficult.
So maybe is there a middle ground to still get the input and give the notice to the 500-foot radius residents, but perhaps in a different manner that's actually possible?
Sure. The one thing, though, I would hasten to add, this is for a landmark designation. Currently, we only have 2 properties in the village that are designated as landmarks. A landmark is kind of like It's a super designation. It's the, to borrow the Supreme Court phrase from, I don't know, 60 plus years ago, you know it when you see it. And that's something that there are very, very few properties, frankly, that would meet that standard.
Yeah.
But absolutely, you know, if the Board of Trustees would like us to do something different, if you want to say that the applicant owner would then provide some form of written certification that they had provided written notice, either by, you know, dropping in a mail slot or whatever, or sending a letter via just regular mail at 82 cents a pop. That's fine with us. I don't think that's really a concern.
I think, Chair Franek, you can correct me if I'm wrong because you worked much harder on this than I did, but I believe there's different types of notices included in the ordinance.
Yes.
You've mentioned the reduction to the 200 feet is only
Yes.
specific to the local landmark. We only have two in town, Waller Gates, and I forget the other.
That's correct.
The other.
Yeah. There's a Waller Gates and there's one other residence.
And
there's
then
one residence.
the 500-foot minimum for a demolition, that still
That would
remains
stay.
500 feet.
Right. So
That
it's
would
just these
stay.
two.
But that's where the certified mailing challenge.
Yeah, that's
Does come up.
and the protection of those significant properties. Frankly, that's at the heart of what we do. One of the properties we lost was what has been known in the village as the Mars Mansion, the Vilas house. Several weeks ago, I received a phone call from a gentleman in Seattle. I had not spoken with him in 10 or 12 years. He is the grandson of the original owner of the former Mars Mansion, and he had heard that one other structure had a lot of fencing around it, and he wanted to add his voice that hopefully there wasn't a demolition of that. So people do care, even if they have moved on from our community.
Yeah, Bob?
So, Matt, on normal notices on other things that we do, isn't it 250 feet?
For plan developments, the code lists 500 feet. Their minor variations is lower. I believe that's 250 feet. For major variations, that will go to the zoning board, or special use, that's 500 feet.
Okay. Thanks.
And none of those notices for zoning require a certified mail requirement. They're just regular first-class mail.
Okay.
Well, that's where I'm a little bit confused. So these two residents, you're saying require certification. That's, I got it, I read it.
We
at
have
least I got it.
Currently, we have two landmarks in
Yep.
in the village. One is the Waller Gates that were
Yep.
designed and constructed by Frank Lloyd Wright outside of what's now the Winslow House off of Lake Street. Okay, it's just the gates. It's the stone. There is one residence on the north side of the village that the residents came to us, and in order to get a landmark designation, there's only two ways it can happen. One, we pass on it, but it has to be at the request of the homeowner, where they make the application, or in the alternative, they request that we do it on their behalf.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not something that someone can say, gee, I want to landmark my neighbor's property.
I remember.
Can't happen.
Right. So, I guess I'm a little bit confused here. So you're requesting of those two pieces of property, no,
We're requesting prospectively.
Prospectively.
One of the comments when the draft ordinance was reviewed by the village attorney's office, the request was to reduce from 500 feet to something less.
Right.
And in our last commission meeting, before doing the final draft, the commission as a whole believed that a reduction of 200 feet would be appropriate.
Appropriate.
So for 200 feet, we are talking about any household that wants to be named a significant landmark status. And that's the only reason why we would.
This would be if you're one of the 296 already designated significant properties, designated by the criteria done by architects in the survey. And as we went through this process, for several years, probably from like 2009 through 2011, give or take. It's been a while. I don't remember the exact dates, but I think that's the general area. The commission went through every specific proposal that was done because the architects looked at every site. They photographs were taken, many by David Reno Ogden, and these external architects had proposed designations. It's if one of these 296 designated homes wishes to become elevated to a landmark, our current ordinance says that they have to provide a placard of a public hearing in their property indicating there's going to be a public hearing. They have to provide that for a 500-foot radius. And the thought was that may be a bit burdensome because it's really a super honorary designation.
So it's only for designating. It's not for any other changes to
Correct.
what? Okay.
Correct.
And is it your belief that 10 certified notices would cover 200 feet?
No, this would require an effort by someone. That's why we have proposed to do something. In terms of 200 feet, well, you would basically, that would be maximum of 4 lots in a direction. It would be maximum of, I guess, 12. 4 lots in each direction. Because the lots
If I can step in here.
Please.
Oh, Luke.
It's Luke.
Hi, Luke.
Zooming in. I would like to say that some of the logic or reasoning behind this is the person is attempting to, I guess what you could say is a benefit to the community. They're trying to landmark their home. So I think some of the commission's idea was the commission should lower that requirement because they're trying to preserve their home. They aren't necessarily trying to demolish or anything. That's only for applications to make their home a local landmark.
Yeah, no, right.
They're not the applications for demolition and such as proposed still have the 500-foot mailer. Yeah. But if someone were to want to preserve their home, the commission were to think that we should probably reduce the requirement regarding that.
Yeah. Thanks, Luke. I think now I understand it. I mean, it seems like an incentive to have somebody landmark their home, which is a big thing, a big deal.
Absolutely.
And it protects all of us, because landmarks very hard to demolish, very hard to do a lot of things. So, I mean, I could see now why you'd want to do that.
But I think what I'm hearing in the back and forth between Erica and the chairman is that even reducing it to 200 might still exceed the 10 certified mailings.
Potentially.
It might.
Potentially.
Yeah.
That assumes that in each direction, all of the lots have the minimum 50-foot frontage. And many residences in our community have more than a 50-foot frontage.
So I'm guessing then that it would be multiple trips to the post office to get the,
Sure.
so you just can't do the 10 in one day.
I mean, at the end of the day,
Is there a reason we need certified versus just regular mail to do in this?
That's
No, that's the intent, but not.
right.
Right, but why?
Why?
Why
Yeah.
do you need that
Because people say
acknowledgement
they
in
don't
this
get it.
in this particular situation?
Because if there's someone who comes forward and says,
I never received it. And we get that.
Correct, but why do you need it in this situation where we don't require it in many other situations
You wouldn't.
in the village?
You don't I mean, that's up for discussion here.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that brought about this change, the commission wanted to address several things, but the certified mailing process was one of the things that we wanted to revisit. It's not necessarily a requirement. The benefit is that there is a proof of acknowledgement. In other cases, there's affidavits that those mailings were sent or other ways to kind of prove that.
I mean, how do
mailings
they
were
even
done.
appear first on the historic, that it need to be certified? I don't even know.
You get a
initial.
card.
No, I know, but I mean, for what purpose was it? Because you
So-
wanted to make sure that.
I can
Go
give a
ahead.
little bit of
All right,
background.
Lance. Yes.
A little bit of background. So some of these things are, some of the zoning requirements are in the Illinois Municipal Code. Now, not these, but some are in the Illinois Municipal Code, and non-home rule communities can't change those. And some of those requirements they seem by today's standards a bit antiquated, like the publication requirement of a newspaper of general circulation.
Right.
There are people that show up at zoning hearings and believe that it was published to keep it a secret, as being non-transparent. Why would you waste your money? Well, you have to. You have to. And the legislation was up for possible change some years ago, and the newspaper lobby came in and lobbied furiously against it, and the legislation failed. Certified mail is another one. Now, the history of that is kind of like, because property rights are involved, the idea is it's a type of formality, a service of like service of a summons or something. Like, you take it seriously and you look at it. And you may recall there are people who got first-class mailings that say, well, this didn't look like it was important, and I just, I threw it away. I thought it was an ad. So it adds a level of formality, but it's legally not required at all in this kind of instance. So that's the background.
I would suggest that we remove the requirement that it be certified mail and just have notice with maybe an affidavit that I did it.
That's fine.
Yeah, I agree.
mean, we have no objections. I mean, the idea is to be as user-friendly as possible.
It sounds like it would make it easier and less expensive.
Certainly.
And I mean, maybe in that case, then just keep it at the 500 feet. 'Cause certified mail is expensive, so.
I would like to make it 200 feet. Again, the goal here is to make it easy to make homes or another building's landmark status, and we do want that. If we're sending out mail, we have to, I guess we could do it to resident. They might not know the names of all their neighbors. So it would take, if you're doing 500 feet. So I think 200 feet, get rid of certification mail, makes a threshold at an appropriate level for someone to want their home to be landmark status amongst the 296 that are significant at this time.
And if someone were to wish to designate their home a local landmark, it wouldn't do anything to their neighbor's property, right?
It's only their property.
Specific to theirs. Okay.
And by designating a home a local landmark, they're effectively agreeing to some additional restrictions as to what they
Which
can do.
could affect the others. If it goes, if it deteriorates.
Frankly, only in a positive way, because what it's doing is it's saying there's a grand home in your or an historically important home in your neighborhood that is seeking to a greater degree of permanence than we presently can bestow upon it by calling it a significant property.
I think it's a great idea, David, but what if it deteriorates, like the prior issue on Mars?
That's one of the things we have. One of the other changes is as to landmark properties. Our changes, the proposed revision, would empower the commission to require the owner to maintain their property, so we do not get demolition by neglect, and that's only for landmarks.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay.
So that if someone really wants to go the full step and grant us great power because they believe that their home is worth it. And one of the criteria would be that it's on the National Register of Historic Places. So, again, this is something that, there are probably several handfuls of homes in the village that would warrant that, frankly. So it's a limited basis. But again, if someone seeks this and it's determined by the commission that it's appropriate, then they're agreeing to additional restrictions.
How many blocks are we saying the 200 feet are? 2.5?
It's a 10, 12.
Did you say 12?
Yeah.
It'll vary depending on where in town, and it's from the outer boundary of the property line.
Yeah, Trustee Bachner asked.
Go ahead.
But if I to answer the question, Trustee Bachner asked, is it in terms of where I came up with the 12, that would be 200 feet in each of the 4 quadrant directions. Mm-hmm. And that assumes the maximum number would be 4 50-foot wide lots, north, south, east, and west, theoretically. So it's a maximum of 12 at 200.
Yeah. I could see, as we're talking about this, I could see people in the area wanting to know that a home was being considered for significant landmark status if people were going to go and visit it, and there might be more people like walking the area, bring more traffic. I'm trying to think about just the other homeowners in the area and why they might want to know this in a broader area of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, it's not a major issue if it stays with 500. I think the bigger one is the certified mail.
Yeah.
So I think we could split the difference here.
If we want to modernize it to something where it's regular mail with some statement by the owner that they've posted these, if we want to do it where in the alternative they've dropped it off and they want to make a representation.
Yeah.
That's.
So I think that's where we're
speaking on behalf of the commission. You know,
I
obviously
think
we haven't talked about it, but that seems fine to me.
So I think that's where we're going to
Well, you got a bunch of you here tonight. I see a thumbs up.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I think
Okay.
that's where we're going to land with no certified mail, but hand delivered or mail in 500 feet. Now, have you gone through all of these then? These are all, we talked about the 6 months to 9 months. I just want to make sure we talk through that because that's been a issue for some home buyers in the past, right? So I want to make sure that the trustees realize that could come up back to us.
I do have a question about that. I was wondering if there were any properties or anyone that would impact currently that are thinking about demolition.
It would be the 296. It would be prospective.
Yes. So there's no one among those 296 who is currently seeking to demolish a home?
I believe that's the
Mr.
case.
Capitello, I have not received anything regarding that. And I'm
Okay.
on the funnel point regarding that.
Okay. I just wanted to check and make sure that if we're making a decision, we're not doing it in a way that's impacting someone who's considering a project right now.
That's correct. But it's a future issue, and it was part of the debate when we created I think the 200 and whatever homes, is that the seller or the buyer would, given its issue, could be in disrepair, would want a demo or like a garage.
So,
right?
so I like the fact that you've changed your process to go from before they go for a building permit to after they go for a building. I think that's a smart move. But given the way the construction costs are, you may be knocking some people out of the box by extending that for 3 more months in terms of the cost to renovate their home or whatever. So I'm just saying that's an economic impact on the community and the applicants.
But
the delay in questions only for demolitions.
Yeah,
So
it's only for demolitions.
Yep.
One of the things that, and John can certainly talk to this as a very experienced multiple-decade architect, but from my perspective, one of the things for the additional time is it would allow us to meet with homeowners and who are seeking to do a demolition and see if we can provide some alternatives to an additional purchaser, some additional ideas so that something is not lost. And if, in fact, there would be an increase in construction costs because of the delay, I'm sure that would be factored in terms of whatever the subsequent contract was.
I agree with that delay. Based on my experience with a couple of historic buildings in the village that were torn down very quickly and probably could have had a different result if there had been a little bit more time and thoughtfulness.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a handful, I think, David. I mean, I think if we think about the Mars Mansion, I think that's a perfect example of where I think the commission did try, right?
We did, and the
so I
individuals the company that purchased the property, literally within hours after the clock ran, they were out and they demolished it. One of the things that, in addition to the gentleman in Seattle, I received a phone call from his sister, who is a resident of Portland, Oregon. This is, I guess, 2012, I think, give or take. And one of the comments she made is that home had what are called inset gutters. They don't hang on the outside. They're sort of inside the wall. And her father, her grandfather, who had had the building constructed, had spec'd the fact that the gutters would be wide enough for if one or two workmen to stand in them, and they would be sturdy enough, and they were copper. The individuals who purchased the home and speedily demolished it did not salvage the copper, which is just
but this
forget
doesn't.
about the demolition. That was serious money
Yeah,
that
I
they
agree.
threw away
Yeah.
for whatever motivation they
Agree.
had.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't know if that would this 6 to 9
No,
months
it
would
wouldn't,
solve
but-
that. Okay, but here I'm all in favor of it too. I just want to make sure the board understands that this 3 months is not going to kill everybody, but it has an effect on the buyer seller, and a possible, especially if the property is in disrepair.
And how many single-family homes do we have? Around 3,000?
Yes, I think that's
Do we?
for the purposes of discussion. I think that's
So
about right.
we're talking about 10%, right around.
299.
Yes. What I'm just looking for.
Yeah.
Approximately 10% of the properties would
This
be
includes
impacted.
some other institutions and other things. So
Yes.
just for reference. But
Okay.
And these are these are designations, just to remind myself, that we've already provided to, or do they, do we automatically say this is a landmark home, or does somebody have to request that status at that level?
In order, a landmark home can be is a designation that is determined by the commission.
Okay.
In order for it to be determined by the commission, the homeowner who is an owner of a property that we have already designated a significant property based upon the architect's review years ago at the time the survey was initially conducted, based upon, frankly, the gold standard criteria for preservation. If in fact they met that threshold, and not all homes did by any stretch of the imagination, if they own one of those 296 and they then seek this extra designation to be named a landmark,
right,
that landmark designation can occur only one of two ways. It has to be something where the homeowner themselves comes to us, completes an application, or they ask us as the commission to complete that on their behalf.
Okay, and so how many do we have today that have landmark
Two.
status?
One residence.
Now, if I could, sorry. So there's 296 significant properties. That's the designation that applies more broadly. Landmark is a more
Thank you.
niche
Okay, yeah.
thing.
That's what
That's a
I'm
higher
asking.
standard. So the
Okay.
296 remaining,
We already consider those significant properties.
that's the binder that we
homeowner
have.
doesn't
We have
to
a
do-
map.
Yep.
Exactly. So
Okay.
they already know that.
So
I
it's
think part of this will be
296.
reminding them that they are, so that when they come forward for any building permits, that they're aware of this new process and new rules. So that's the confusion.
That's right. So it's those 290. Here,
Okay.
I'm perfectly fine. It sounds like the trustees are okay too. I just want to remind the board that could become an issue, that we just have to remember that this is something we believe, and it makes sense. So, okay.
Could the Historic Preservation Commission decide to go faster? Could they allow someone to demolish it
Yes.
quicker if they
Yep, this is
agreed?
maximum.
Okay.
And we could do it with conditions.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a maximum number, and it's a maximum number that runs from our determination.
And the only reason I bring this up, Megan, is because we want more people to be a significant property, right? And if you put more conditions on their home, they won't do it. And so, not that this is arduous, it's not. It's just that's kind of if you ask the homeowners, that's what they would say. We would prefer not to have conditions because we're going to do the right thing anyway, because we believe in significant homes. And that's why we put our home on that list. So I believe them, but there's also, sounds like we need more time to make sure we do the right thing at the commission, which is fine. All right, so any other questions for David?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a question about the second bullet point, garage demolitions. And I did read through this redlined ordinance in the packet, but it still wasn't clear to me. Maybe I read it not carefully enough. What is the difference between attached and detached garages?
There is no designation. What the intent is the Architecture Review Subcommittee in the first instance would look at the proposal. And the proposal would require someone to provide, if possible, a building permit, indications as to when the structure, the accessory building, was constructed, who constructed it, was an architect involved, is it of the same design of the initial, one of the principal structures on site. The way the survey works is the survey viewed all the structures on site. In some instances, they called out the accessory buildings, the garage, the coach house, whatever. Under those circumstances, that would be a strong indication that that structure, in fact, would require further review by the whole commission. What this does, it allows the architecture review subcommittee to take the application, to one, determine, is it complete? Do we have enough information? And is it something that warrants, because of all these other surrounding conditions, age, design, harmony with the existing structure, whether or not it's something that should be reviewed by the entire commission and not just the 2-member subcommittee, because it's viewed as, yes, this is clearly part of the designation of the entire property as being architecturally or historically significant. That's what they're doing. They're basically winnowing through the process. So that if someone has a home that was, built in the 1920s and their structure is something that was built 20 years ago, what's going to happen is the architecture review subcommittee is going to look at that. They're going to either look at the photographs or they're going to look at the building permit and say, it's not significant. Do we have a complete application? Yes. Then the 2 members will make a determination whether those folks can demolish that particular structure. And that will go from, right now, it would require the full review, which means 2 commission meetings, the entire commission. One, to determine, do we have a completed application? The second, to make a vote on the application. This would shrink it down to, from 2 commissions, potentially 60 days, down to a handful. Previously, the architecture review subcommittees, their main task would be to look at things like window replacements, where they would look at it and say, nope, no problem, go for it. And because it's something that's easily identifiable. Here, it's an actual structure, and some of them are significant. You go throughout the village, and there are structures that are clearly coach houses that are clearly significant. And there are those that are, cinder block structures, or something that was put up by a garage construction company that clearly don't merit any kind of architectural significance. This takes care of the latter group, so that people don't feel burdened and they can move forward quickly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I think the major issues, some you're giving the applicant, like you said, less time, and then some were saying we need more time, which is fine. All right, so is there any other questions, Rez or Lisa, on this? If not, then I think what we want to do is we could approve it with, I think the difference is that we keep it 500 feet and we take out the need for it to be certified. Is what I heard the group say here? Certified mail? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And do you propose to add some statement by the owner that they've in fact provided notice?
Yep. It'd be nice. Sure.
Okay.
We trust them, but it would be nice to
Okay.
have it on record. Okay. And I think other than that, I think the rest is...
Maybe
Yep.
the way we can get around that is provide a copy of the addresses that fall within that. So we know they did the homework at least to identify
that's
those
a good
people
idea.
are.
Yeah.
We typically provide that list. We usually generate the map and the address
Well, they
list.
got
From the GIS system? Okay,
Right.
thanks.
But it's not a bad thing to ask for. All right. Okay, so I think then let's approve that with those changes. Rosa?
Okay. Item 7AI, proposed amendments to the village's Historic Preservation Committee Code. Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Cascatello?
Yes.
Trustee Bachner?
With the approved changes, yes.
Trustee O'Connell?
Yes.
Trustee Gillis?
Yes.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right,
Thank
thank you,
you all.
David. Thanks, John. Thank you, everyone from the.
Thank you.
Yeah, for all that work. It's hard.
You're most
I know.
welcome. And I assume that revision will be done by village attorney's office. Perfect. Thank you
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for everything you guys do. Really appreciate it. I know it's a lot of work. Okay, so we'll go on to new business. We have no action. So I'll let Jessica do this.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So
What?
yes.
I know that the action sheet doesn't say it, but if we could have a motion to approve the ordinance creating these classifications. This is an action item on here. There's an ordinance included as part of the packet, so there should be an action item.
So this is wrong?
Correct.
Okay.
So it should be a motion to approve liquor license control amendment.
Yes.
Lance?
Is that right?
Yep, that was be sufficient. Yes.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good. All right, let's get a motion and a second
Did.
on that.
Okay.
Who did? Who did it?
Bob moved.
I just did it.
Who
Lance
seconded?
had-
Did you
And I
make it?
second.
Sorry. Boy, you guys are fast. Thank you.
Thank you. Megan and I are tracking.
I
here.
know,
We
I
got it
know.
going.
Glad you are.
It would be a motion to adopt.
Yeah, we already did it.
Well, it would be, the motion would be to adopt an ordinance amending the River Forest Village Code relative to liquor control. And this would be to add these classifications. That would be the motion.
Yes. You guys are okay? Yes, okay. Jessica?
Good evening. So I'm here to discuss the creation of 2 new liquor classes. And I just, for the sake of clarity, it's all in one ordinance, but we can discuss them separately if you wanted to, just so we're all on the same page. The first one is intended to, it's called a Class 7, the Salon Alcoholic Liquor. And that is because we have a business in town that is a nail salon that would like to serve adult beverages to certain clientele. They would meet all of the other requirements for serving.
Hopefully above minors, right?
Yes.
There's certain clientele.
Certain clientele would be.
Okay, I mean, you're not saying
It's included in there.
certain people.
Well, so I was going to go through the requirements.
That was
They
a-
are.
Go ahead.
They would have to identify that their clientele is above
Right.
21 years old.
Mhm.
They would also prohibit having the customers bring alcohol to the store. They would only be able to serve the alcohol that the store provides. And then there would be also limitations specific to the quantity of servings to the clients. The ordinance referenced 1 serving of, there's several different types of alcohol that would be provided. To be clear, it's a glass of wine, so that would be a 4-ounce glass is usually a singular glass of wine. A 1-ounce pour of tequila that's mixed into like a slurry, like a slushy type frozen drink. And then there's certain menu items of the salon that would also incorporate a 187 milliliter bottle of champagne. So it's those champagne bottles that are like this size. So that would be provided during the one singular time during the visit to the salon, regardless of how many services they would receive.
Jessica,
Yes.
I believe the ordinance itself says no more than 2 drinks. So are we looking at 1 drink or 2?
I had that question as well. Yeah. It does say
Well, I
2.
guess frankly that's up for discussion. If you would like to have 2 drinks in a visit, or 2 servings in a visit, or one drink in a visit, that is something that could be discussed here at this point.
Do we know what the request was?
The owner is actually here.
Hi, Henry. How
Did
are
you have a particular number of servings that you were interested in providing your customers?
Usually we only just give out 1.
I was going to ask the chief to weigh in on this one. 2 or 1.
Well, Henry just said 1. He's the owner. So. Huh? Ken. I said Henry. Sorry, Ken.
Did you just say that you limited to 1? Then I think
Yeah.
that since this is carved out
Henry,
specifically,
where's that coming from?
as that type of permit, and it's specifically for that business, one sounds great.
Okay, thanks. All right.
So did you have any other questions about this class?
I do. Love it. But what I don't want to do is I would like to make other businesses in the same class aware that this is possible. Is there a way we could connect with the chamber or in other ways notify other salons, nail salons, barbers, other businesses within that category who might also want to take advantage of that?
For sure.
Although Ken, you may not want that, but
but I have to be fair.
No. He wants to.
So we have a business license designation of salon.
Yes.
That includes, is that just nail? Is that nail and hair? Or is there?
I would have to look exactly at how the software pulls them out, but fortunately, I do believe we're familiar enough to be able to tell what the
I believe it does include
Surveys.
both, though. We'll have to check what
Yeah.
the business license.
Yeah,
I think it's
because
just
like one
notice.
place that I'm thinking about is also like the brow place that does the tattoo brow. You know.
Oh, on North Avenue.
Yeah, and so is that something we want up for? Like if they're a part of a salon category.
I don't know why
Do we
wouldn't.
want them to be able to offer tattoos and offer?
I don't know why we wouldn't.
And
I mean,
just-
just-
I'm
That's
Yeah.
up for discussion. I think the intent would be to have this available for eyebrow, nail, hair salons, tattoo. I hadn't necessarily considered, but the intent would be to have.
Not to further complicate, but as I recall, the first liquor license in River Forest was the Good Earth Greenhouse, which is not a restaurant or bar. That a serving of alcohol there would be ancillary to their plant sales. So what do we want to have designations for, greenhouse liquor serving, salon liquor serving, or do we want to just make a umbrella like ancillary to non-bar and non-restaurants?
Yeah, but I think Good Earth that's a separate license. It's not a restaurant bar license. To your point, I think you want a little bit of a designation, right? Because they're different.
I think you want a little more. I think you want a little control is the more
control.
important thing.
The history of liquor license amendments is exactly, they tend to be that. It's like you have a certain market, someone wants to do something, and you don't want to open the door to anything, especially if it's new. So you create a new classification, and then you have these multiple classifications.
And I think about places like auto repair or something like that.
Hey, you might be onto something.
And when I go to Great Clips for my $5 haircut.
So there have been attempts to try to generalize it. I mean, I've tried to do that with licenses to create as few as possible, but a lot of times, what you find is the liquor commissioner or the people say, "Well, what about this? What about that?" Well, no, we need to keep
You
it
want control.
very specific for that control reason. So it's not an easy question, and probably one you're not going to solve tonight.
So what you're saying is that it's better to have these little narrow
It's
designations.
common. It's very common,
Okay.
and I've found it to be difficult to try to be very broad, even though that sounds like a great idea, but when you actually get into the exercise, there are idiosyncrasies in the way these are created. It's kind of like when we created the liquor for the breakfast place, right? And why can't we just give them a liquor license? Well, there were problems with doing that because of the way they operate, and we usually don't let people serve alcohol at 9 in the morning. Are you going to let the bars be open 24 hours?
You want them to be-
raises other considerations.
Fair enough. It's
So-
fair enough.
But it's
Yeah.
a good. I mean, the question keeps being asked because you want laws to be simple and categories easy.
And so if we did this tonight and we issued this one license, but then made other people aware that the classification was available, they could come before us and we could adjust the number of licenses if it were a
That's
similar
exactly- it's
category.
exactly how it works. Yep. All right, so that's what we have before us. Any questions for Jessica or Ken, the owner of the nail salon? Okay.
So the second class is known as Class 8, and this is for a particular business that's working out of Hub Kitchen. The baker makes cupcakes, and she would like to provide a pipette or a little vial of alcohol with cupcakes. She says that if you order 12 cupcakes, you'll get no more than 6 vials, or 24 cupcakes, you'll get no more than 12 vials. And each vial holds about 2 tablespoons of alcohol that she would be filling as she's preparing the order. She talked about Kahlua. There's a chocolate Kahlua and a strawberry cream Kahlua that she would provide with particular cupcakes, and then also Hennessy and Crown Royal that she would provide these in her.
So is it going to be a shot in the cake? I mean, what are they going to do with it?
Essentially, so you would take the pipette and then squeeze it into your cupcake, and then you can eat it.
It's infused.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
But after the baking process, so the alcohol doesn't bake out.
I see.
I
makes sense.
also clarified with her that because this is a shared commercial kitchen, she would have the alcohol locked up, so only she could access it when she is not in the store, or no one else of the commercial kitchen could access it. So she would also go through Bassett training and understanding over-serving, which is the state requirement. It is a slightly different concept because of what she wants to do, but I felt like that was a very important aspect to the municipal license as well as the state licensing process.
Okay.
Here I had a question. We don't specify an amount of food to serve that alcohol with for this particular type of catering license. Is that something that we want to do? Because it could be like, here is your cocktails and 1 cookie. That license could be utilized in different ways than what this particular person intends it to be used. Do we need to put some amount of food, like ratio of food to liquor into it?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Didn't you just say how many cupcakes and how many?
So what she told me is she would sell 12 cupcakes with 6 vials and 24 cupcakes with no more than 12 vials. So she's already giving you 2
ratio.
cupcakes to 1, or 2 tablespoons, 2 cupcakes to 2 tablespoons of a pipette. Presumably 1 serving to 2 cupcakes. But if you wanted to tighten it, like what you were talking about with the nail salon, if you wanted to restrict it, I think that would be a reasonable.
I think just clarifying it to what the actual intent is, so that we don't then permit another business a second license in that class that is basically cocktail delivery.
Yeah, I like the ratio. I don't know if I want. If she wants to do 24 cupcakes and whatever the ratio is, but
So it'd be ounces to ounces
teaspoons
then.
or tablespoons.
She's using tablespoons.
Yeah.
2 tablespoons for
Whatever
1
that
cupcake.
is.
Do that math, right?
Yeah, so we'd
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Also because in the memo and here we're talking about a small amount of alcohol, which I feel more comfortable with designating the amount of alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're giving the ratio,
Yep.
I feel a little bit better about that. And the intent then is for this to be with catered foods only?
So she is working out of Hub Kitchen. She is not allowed to sell and have someone walk up to the door and purchase cupcakes.
And she's not allowed to ship cupcakes?
So what she's allowed to do is bake in the kitchen and then take them to another venue outside of River Forest to sell them.
The fact that she wants this liquor license, so that's kind of interesting. She doesn't really. Okay, I think makes sense.
Are you
Which
all
is
okay with the
ratio.
fees that I
Yeah.
proposed too?
Huh?
So the fee for the Class 8, the cupcake, is $500 a year, and then the fee for the Class 7 for the nail salon is $1,500 a year. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so any other questions on this ordinance? Jessica, thanks. So we'll go ahead and take the vote with, I think, just a small minor.
2 changes that I picked up. A ratio for the cupcakes,
Yep.
and then
Really, that's
making 1 serving instead of 2 servings per salon visit.
That's correct. Yeah, thanks.
And then we are opening up the class 7 to all types of salons. It's not strictly nail salon. So I'll make sure there's no reference to nail salon.
Yeah, just a salon, but we do want to approve it.
Mhm.
Yep.
And promotion, sure.
Yep. No, I meant when they come up, right? Okay. Okay.
So we need to do that. Okay, so item 9A, liquor control amendment, Villa Nail Spa LLC and Nita's Bakery Inc. ordinance as amended to include a ratio and widen it to other salons for the bakery, for the class 7.
Yeah, it was one
serving.
one serving for the.
One serving.
For the, yeah.
Right. Okay. Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Cascatello?
Yes.
Trustee Bachner?
Yes.
Trustee O'Connell?
Yes.
Trustee Gillis?
Yes.
Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Okay. All right, very good. Now, we no action on that one,
Correct.
right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got the introduction to the Community Connect service. So Tom and Dave. Thanks, Ken.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much.
Well, I got the mic. I want to remind everybody as well that we've got our fire department blood drive this Saturday at the firehouse from 10 to 2. So I just wanted to mention that before we got into this. But this is one thing this could be used for, to help market stuff like that. So, so we've got a new program that the fire department is rolling out, and we're really excited about it. It's called Community Connect, and I'll kind of give a little overview here, and then I'm going to have the deputy get into more detail. We've got a short little video to watch as well. So what is Community Connect and why does it matter? So Community Connect is a free, secure online portal, which is part of our First Due software platform, which is our records management system for the fire department, where residents and businesses can voluntarily share information that helps first responders during an emergency. Residents can choose what to share, organized into simple categories such as your property, your people, your needs, and your pets. Businesses can also share their plans, building plans, what's in their property or on their property, and their contact information. So when seconds count, this information is available to responding crews the moment a call comes in, before we even arrive on the scene. Sign up takes only a few minutes from any phone, tablet, or computer, using just an email, phone number, and the address. The more households and businesses that participate, the more effective and efficient our response becomes village-wide. So now I'll let Dave get into the inner workings of the system.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
So, as we discussed, Community Connect is a way for the citizen to have a conversation with us prior to our arrival. So historically, we've had people that would come up to us prior to ice packets and everything, and they would say, hey, I have maybe a key hidden under a rock in the back of my house. They'd provide that information to us. We would forward that up to dispatch. Dispatch, hopefully we don't lose that information. They'd put it in the system, and then it would sit there for the next 20 to 30 years and never get looked at again. So Community Connect allows us on the residential side to have the residents maintain their own information. They are allowed to put the information they want into. There is nothing that is required outside of an email and or phone number. If you just want to have notifications come from the fire department and or village, you are free to do that, and we have to share no other information with this. If you have pets that you want to let us know about, if you have a disabled relative that maybe sleeps upstairs, downstairs, in the event that we respond to your home for a structure fire, that gives us pertinent information so we know that we are going in to make a rescue prior to arriving on scene and having to make that determination when we get on scene and hear it for the first time. So with our new platform, when we are dispatched, it will actually have a flag on the address that is maintained by the resident, and they will put that information in for us. If there's a certain key location, a keypad information to get into a specific door, it gives us all that information at our fingertips prior to arriving at the scene. And it is maintained by the resident. So going back to the old way where it would go upstairs and sit and disappear, every year a participant will get an email saying it has been 1 year since you registered. Do you want to update your profile, and do you still want to maintain your profile? It allows that resident to then re-up and say, yes, I still live here and the information in this system is still good. So if we scroll down a little bit, Jessica, I'm just going to have you guys watch the video because it answers most of the questions, but I'm sure you'll have a few afterwards, but we'll start with the video.
As your fire and EMS agency, we are here to ensure we do whatever it takes to protect you and your family. However, there are many valuable pieces of critical information that can help save lives and property in a real emergency that we don't know until we arrive at your door. Things like how many occupants to expect at your home, if anyone has access or functional needs, or speaks another language, whether or not you have pets or livestock, structural details like where the bedrooms are, or even where hazardous materials may be located. But now, with Community Connect, you have the power to keep us informed of nearly everything that matters, so we can better serve you when emergency strikes. Community Connect is a safe and secure online program available at no cost to all residents that allows you to provide us with critical property and occupant information that we can access at the time of response, leading to better outcomes in case of fire or medical emergency. So, what are some examples of the kind of information you can contribute? First, your family members. Who lives at your residence and how to get in touch during an emergency. Next, your property. Things like where your family's bedrooms are located, your gate and door codes, if you have a pool or basement, how to shut off water and electricity, and even where your family's emergency meeting place is located. Your needs. Details regarding functional needs like mobility, Alzheimer's, autism, severe allergies, visual or hearing impairments, and more. And last but not least, your pets. Their picture, their names, their habits, and even their veterinary information. So no matter what happens, your furry family members are always known about and taken care of. Signing up is easy. From any internet-connected device, it just takes a phone number, email, and an address. Rest assured, all of your data is safe and only available to our first responders during the time of response, using the same data security and encryption standards found in online banking. If you have 5 minutes to sign up, please select the link to create your profile and get started helping your first responders help you.
One piece I would like to add onto that as well, we do not sell and or share your information with anybody on top of that, so any questions on that. The notification section, so once you log in, there'll be a little prompt that you can sign up for several notifications. One is severe weather, one is for community events, one is for community events, severe weather, emergency situations, so boil orders, things of that nature. This app allows us also to triangulate certain geographical locations within the village. If I wanted to just alert the 500 to 700 block of Ashland or the 000 block to 400 block of Thatcher, I could do that just by putting in the address, the street, and then pinpointing those residents that live in that area, so I'm not sending out blasts all the time to the entire community. So if there were street closures, boil orders, water main ruptures, things like that, we were able to do that and pinpoint the targeted audience that we're seeking. So you have the control to get the notifications you want. If you don't want the notifications anytime, you log back in, you turn those notifications off. If you do want to get the community events and everything, then turn them all on, and you will get everything like everybody else. On the business side, this is advantageous for them because it does, one problem we've run across is when you have people that live in dorms or assisted living is they have cell phones and they call 911 from their cell phone. We will arrive, and not all the time does security or the front desk know that we're even coming to their property for an emergency. What this can do in the background is when dispatch kicks a ticket to our terminal on our rigs, it'll actually notify the business owner that we are actually responding to their property and alerting them that we are going there for a report of a fire or a medical emergency. They do not have that on the residential side. They found some safety factors with some domestic issues that they didn't want to have that notification going through the residents at this point. We're trying to find a work around with them if there's like a vacation setting. So if you were on vacation, you would want to get notified and maybe have a conversation with us. But as of right now, there is not that ability on the residential side, but for the business owners, they can get notified that we are coming to their property and that what we're getting alarmed for. So it's customizable for what the resident wants, what the resident's willing to share with us. Anybody who has any disabilities or functional needs, we highly recommend you use this. There are already cases through First Due that they have had saves for crews going there and finding an elderly person or a disabled person in the basement who was on a ventilator, they were able to get them out of the building right away before they even went for suppression. They were able to go in and make the rescue and pull people out of the building. So this isn't just hypothetical. This has actually happened in real life already. This is something that can benefit everybody in this community.
One of the exciting things is we're the first community around here that's doing this, that has this. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, this sounds great.
Study for the area for
just
sure.
a couple questions. Is it going to handle medications?
They can put those in there if they like.
So how does that work with HIPAA?
So, like I said, it's encrypted. It's only for us. So we have the ICE packets right now, which we encourage people to fill those out. You can actually, so 2 factors here. So we encourage people, if you believe that you want to use this, there's also the option to have us come out and do a home safety inspection. And during that course of that, we could actually come out with a computer. I can scan and or photograph, or our fire marshal can do that, and we can actually attach it into your system so it lives inside of your profile. And if at any point something changes or you don't want to share that information anymore, you go in there and you delete it, and we won't know anything of the different.
It doesn't violate any HIPAA information because we would have access to that information anyway.
Since we are the medical provider, we are entitled to that information.
Okay, fair enough. I just want to make sure we don't.
Sure.
And then, is this server stay here? I mean, where is this technology?
It's all cloud-based through our RMS system.
Through our RMS system. Okay.
So they control the encryption and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So.
And are we going to expand this beyond the fire department, like the police department and public works and everything we do?
So correct. The intent, we're ready to go live and launch this. It's yes, everyone. We're going to promote it village-wide. Encourage specifically the notification piece applies to all departments. If there's any public safety or reason to stay in home or water main or flooding or things like that. The intent is to use it village-wide. Now, most of the features are specific to the fire department, but a lot of the pieces already in first do work with the police department and public works department about how hydrants and other things that police will need when they're responding as well. So it's not just limited to the fire department. A lot of it is kind of the priority, but in terms of notifications, the intent is that we will all have access to it. Our thinking right now is to primarily use it for emergency notifications. The community events is good to have as another thing. We have other channels to do that. We like to keep this primarily for the important pressing things, to keep it kind of a public safety focus so that people don't get turned off by getting too many notifications or things like that. So the intent is to use it village-wide.
Yeah, it wasn't planned to have them go on a call race.
Just fortuitous.
You're mentioning this is for first responders. Is it limited to fire and EMT, or do police have access to this information as well when it's entered in by a resident?
If they could go through us to get like phone numbers if they wanted contact information or something like that. But it primarily just goes through the CAD system to our vehicles and our MDTs that are in each rig, so that we would see that, they would not see that.
So police would be allowed to request the information from you, and you would be able to provide it to them?
Correct.
Okay. And then it sounds like you are still recommending for folks to use the ice packs in their freezer, as well as this. Maybe this goes down, that's then in their freezer.
Well, if it goes down and we're getting busier, so there's a higher probability that somebody coming from another agency is going to be coming to your emergency as well. So they not all agencies necessarily would have access to this. Currently, Elmwood Park and Forest Park are on the First Do platform, but they would get this if they also participated in the pre-planning, and we share that data. So we have the ability to share any information in our system, almost any information in our system, with a responding agency that also uses this platform. So we could share that information, or we could withhold that information, just keep that internally. So that's, again, something that's fully customizable on our end, but I would believe that you'd want another responder coming in if we were unavailable because we're on another call, to have that information as well to help your family.
And they would only have access to that information on an emergency response. They couldn't just go into their computer.
Are you going to ask them, hey, do you allow another mutual aid?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you got to ask
yeah,
for that permission.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, I mean, it's customizable. You just,
Yeah.
So checkbox, can you use, River
okay,
Forest?
for mutual aid
Yeah.
purposes. Right.
I assume that the fire marshal will deal with the big businesses.
Yeah,
You know,
he's
you think
gonna
about-
personally go out.
Think about Whole Foods and the Jewel and the stuff
Yeah.
that goes on in the
Yep.
bigger facilities.
He's already begun handing out some cards similar to that to the businesses and the property managers.
But on the big ones, isn't that almost a sit down and fill it out with them so we have the information so we make sure it's done? 'Cause
That's
I think
pretty much how he's been handling it.
good, great,
So, yeah.
great.
And what happens if residents don't respond to that annual email or request for
It
information?
would just stay in there the way it is until, let's say you sell your house and a new person moves in. If they want to get into the system, when they type the address in, it won't let them initially because it's showing somebody else already in that property's already flagged as having information.
Okay.
They would have to get us like a copy of their electric bill or whatever, and then we could get them into the system that way. Remove the past resident and put in the new resident.
Okay, so that means then that potentially if the household was sold, that the information might be outdated if nobody touches it.
So we will get a notification, that a little asterisk next to the information. If it is more than 1 year old, we can set parameters 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, what have you. But once it passes that threshold and somebody does not acknowledge that that information is still correct or they still do reside in that residence, we'll actually get an asterisk next to it that this is information we have in the system, probably not reliable because either somebody hasn't replied or hasn't maintained the system.
But following that, I mean, not to make this more complicated, but we know who sells and buys homes. I mean, we get a list
Right.
from,
I was gonna
Cook
just
County.
say that. I know
So-
we do the transfer.
Not that you want to put,
stamps and all that.
but you could probably flag those right away.
Right.
Clean up your database.
I was just gonna say that we could work with finance and
Yeah.
being part
Yeah.
of that process with the transfer stamp and all
And then
that,
we
so.
have the letter that we give the new residents now too,
Yeah.
that would be a vehicle to put something like that in there to
Yeah.
notify them, hey, just by the way, our community participates in this.
Right, that would be a good,
And I put cards in front of each one of you. Those are the cards that we're gonna be handing out at events. I'm gonna be handing them out at the blood drive this Saturday, so.
And when does this go live?
August 1st, so we're trying to start getting people signed up. And again, it takes 5 minutes to get signed up, so.
And so for organizations like you mentioned, like Dominican or Concordia, you are specifically working with the administration and not necessarily students or
Correct.
other staff. So, so then they would be responsible for the push of information
That's
to
how we're doing it, yes.
So
the community.
in that instance, I would work with the head of security. Security would furnish a list of names and contact numbers, and then they would be responsible for reaching back out to us and saying, hey, so-and-so left our organization, remove them, and then added the next person. So they maintain their list actually without me even going in there. Whoever the administrator of that account would be would actually go in there. So the head of security in that instance would be able to go in there at any time and remove or add somebody if they wanted to. All they need is a phone number and or an email.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like schools and universities
Mhm.
typically have a pretty sophisticated system of being able to connect with their community
Mhm.
and get information out to them. So that's
Right.
not something that you have to do. Yeah.
questions, comments?
Oh, great. This is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it,
And
yeah,
we're-
it sounds
we're
great.
looking forward to getting it rolled out.
Go ahead. Anything, Rez or Lisa?
No, I think it's a good thing that they're doing, and I think it'd be very useful for our residents. So, kudos to you, Fire Chief.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, very good. Well, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Okay.
you guys.
Okay, then that concludes our open session. We'll now move into executive session, so I can,
Okay, I move that the board enter into executive session under the Illinois Open Meetings Act 5 ILCS 120/2C5 and 2C6 to discuss the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body and to discuss the setting of a price for the sale or lease of property owned by the public body.
and you want to add that last piece, the village board will adjourn
Oh, yes, sorry. And the village board will adjourn after the executive session and not come back to discuss any public session items.
Second.
Trustee Cascatello?
Yes.
Trustee Bachner?
Yes.
Trustee O'Connor?
Yes.
Trustee Gillis?
Trustee Gillis?
Oh, yes. I didn't
Trustee
hear me.
Vasquez? Sorry, I don't have my. Trustee Vasquez?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
And President Ducey.
Yes.